Okay, 皆さん, before we finish up, we have one last grammar point to introduce for Chapter 10. Let's take a look. So, 私はダラスからニューヨークに行きます。We're going to go from Dallas to New York. ダラスからニューヨークまでどうやって行きますか？ダラスからニューヨークまでどうやって行きますか？飛行機で行きます。飛行機で行きます。So how will you go from Dallas to New York? You'll go by airplane. Let's take a look at another one. ダラスからサンアントニオまでどうやって行きますか？ダラスからサンアントニオまでどうやって行きますか？車で行きます。車で行きます。So how will you go from Dallas to San Antonio? I will go by car. How about this one? うちから会社までどうやって行きますか？うちから会社までどうやって行きますか？電車で行きます。電車で行きます。How will you get from your house to the company, to your job? I will go by train. So this new question word, どうやって is what we use to talk about how we will do something. So this is how, not in the sense of like, how was your day? But how in the sense of how will you do something? What will you use to do it? So, うちから会社までどうやって行きますか？ How will you get from your house to the company? By what means? What will you use to get from your house to the company? So, in between どうやって and the verb, we don't put any particle. So, it's just どうやって行きます。And then our answer, 電車で行きます。電車で行きます。So this で, a new particle that we are talking about. We have talked about で before. This で is how we show the means by which we're going to do something. So we use で to show what kind of tool we use to accomplish a task. So for example, we can use it to talk with forms of transportation to show how we're going to get somewhere. Let's take a look at these forms of transportation here on this slide. Some of these are words we are long since familiar with. Some of them are relatively new vocabulary to Chapter 10. See if you can make a sentence, putting together, not even a sentence. See if you can make a phrase putting together the form of transportation with the particle で. Did you get a chance to check? Let's take a look together. So, 電車で by train. 電車で。車で by car. 車で。飛行機で by airplane. 飛行機で。自転車でby bicycle. 自転車で。バスで by bus. バスで。船で by boat. 船で。and 地下鉄で by subway. 地下鉄で。 We also have an expression that we use to talk about doing something on foot in Japanese. This expression is 歩いて. So we have to be a little bit careful. The word is 歩いて. I'm not sure why Genki introduces this here like this way, but 歩いて is not a noun by itself. 歩いて is actually the te form of 歩く, to walk. So we have 歩いて, we're not going to put like a particle with it, and this at the end here is te, not de. So it doesn't quite fit our pattern. We have to just be a little bit careful. So 歩いて means I go there by walking. So this is actually the te form of the verb. So we use this どうやって and noun で to talk about what we use to do something. So うちから会社までどうやって行きますか? How do you get from your house to the company? 電車で行きますよ. I go by train. So どうやって our question word, asking how do you do it. And 電車で our answer, a form of transportation plus で. で shows us the means that we use. The only weird one here is 歩いて. This is just a verb. We can also use this で to talk about things other than transportation. For example, 箸でラーメンを食べます. 箸でラーメンを食べます. So I eat ramen with chopsticks, using chopsticks. Or クレジットカードで払います. クレジットカードで払います. So I pay for something with a credit card, using a credit card. Or 英語がわかりません. 日本語で言ってください. So please say it using Japanese. Please say it with Japanese. 日本語で、クレジットカードで、箸で。So, in summary, this new particle で, it's not so helpful to try and translate it directly in English, because in English we have lots of different prepositions that can be used in this place. So like with, in, by, on. What we need to know is that this new use of で shows the means that we use to make an action happen. It shows what tool we use. So, 箸でご飯を食べます. The tool I use to eat is 箸. 日本語で話しています. The tool that they use to communicate is the Japanese language. 自転車で行きます. The tool that I use to go there is my bicycle. The only weird exception we have right now in this chapter is 歩いて行きます. Not で, but て. 歩いて, the て form. Okay, so take a minute. You can pause the video if you like. Let's see if we can put together some of these phrases. Okay. So how might we say we plan to travel by ship? 船で旅行するつもりです. 船で旅行するつもりです. How about we're going to watch a movie on TV, with a TV? テレビで映画を見ます. テレビで映画を見ます. How about we're going to eat sushi with chopsticks? 箸で寿司を食べます. 箸で寿司を食べます. How about we're going to pay with a credit card? クレジットカードで払います. クレジットカードで払います. We're going to go to school on foot. 歩いて学校に行きます。So this is a little special, right? This is our one that's just a verb. 歩いて学校に行きます。And lastly, to talk to my mom on the phone. 電車で母と話します。電車で母と話します。Or I'm so sorry. 電話で母と話します。This is 電話。We have one more new concept that we are going to talk about a little bit at the end of this chapter. So let's take a look. うちから会社まで So from my house to my company どのくらいかかりますかどのくらいかかりますか So かかります is one of our new vocab words from this chapter. かかります is to take an amount of time or an amount of money. So どのくらいかかりますか どのくらい is like how much, how long. So どのくらいかかりますか How much, how long does it take? So how long does it take to get from your house to the company? うちから会社までどのくらいかかりますか We can answer with the duration plus かかります。So 30 minutes is 30分。30分かかります。So in between the duration and the verb かかります, once again, there's no particle. We just put the duration and かかります. So うちから会社まで30分かかります。It takes 30 minutes to go from my house to the company. So when we talk about the duration in Japanese, these are the counters that we have learned that we can use. One is hun or pun for minutes. We also have jikan for hours and shukan for weeks. If you want to double check the pronunciation or spelling, you can look at the chart on page 380 to 381 in your textbook. Okay, 皆さん. So now we have talked about how to talk about the amount of time required to do something and what you use to do something. See if you can use those concepts to answer the following questions.